Let's go now back to Bob McNally. Bob, it's a little bit fluid, so I appreciate it. You just heard that conversation. How is Russia so successfully getting around the current sanctions?
Hey, Brian, it's not a question of getting around. These sanctions under President Biden were designed purposely to help Putin sell his oil. President Biden went to India and said, please import Russian oil. Why did he do that? Because we didn't want the oil price staying at $127 a barrel, which is where it went right after Russia invaded Ukraine.
Well, hold on, because I heard a lot from the White House, and I've talked to people in the White House. Some of them are still sources, still friendly with. We heard a lot of people on this side of the news camera on different channels talking about how we're cutting off Putin's cash and he's going to go broke and the country's doomed. That was not true.
That's right. We tried to limit his revenue through this price cap mechanism. So we tried to design a cap that would enable his barrels to flow, mainly to India and China, so that gasoline prices in the United States would stay low, but cut the revenue Putin gets. It was an elegant attempt to do two things. However, what President Trump has now threatened is to flip that and go to India and say, we don't want you importing any more Russian oil. Now, President Trump believes, or has said, that if we lose those Russian barrels and crude starts heading up above 100 again, no problem, because shale oil can just pump some more. Well, you and I both know that isn't the case. That is not how shale oil works. Shale oil is actually headed down. So I believe if this meeting, which is about to start, fails, and if we move towards sanctions, the president will have to calibrate those to basically have them coincide with this loosening in global oil fundamentals that many of us see, so that he doesn't send oil prices up and we're back in 2022 again. So
we're talking again. It's a live shot, folks. Air Force One, as you can see in the background. And thank you to the Internetverse. Those are F-22 fighters, not F-35 fighters. I am not strong on my fighter jet game. I apologize. We are waiting for President Trump to depart the plane and come down those stairs, so I'll probably have to interrupt whomever is speaking at that time. But Bob, listen, let's be optimistic. Yeah. Best possible scenario, somehow, not at this meeting, won't happen now, Trump and Zelensky or Putin and Zelensky get into a room, because they're the parties. Zelensky is not here. Ukraine controls its own destiny. Trump has said that. That's the reality. What's the best possible outcome from the energy side?
Well, the best possible outcome is they declare a ceasefire. That President Putin has largely come to terms with either an unconditional ceasefire or a lightly conditioned one. That's great news, because then we go right to a meeting with President Zelensky, the Euros, and next week we open up and we can look at the prospect of removing those European sanctions. Like our friend Halima pointed out, it's really Europe that has the heavy sanctions, and we avoid those new European sanctions that are coming, such as on refined products from Russian crude. So it's a great relief. However, Brian, the oil market is pretty much confident right now. I don't know that we have much more downside in crude if we have this best case scenario. I think the market has become very skeptical about disruption risk, about sanctions, and we're kind of priced for de-escalation here.